The member for Rankin.
Thank you, Speaker. My questions to the Prime Minister. 9 reports, and I quote, "In Mr Hockey's case, DFAT documents seen by The Age and Sydney Morning Herald show that he asked embassy staff to set up a meeting between Minister Councillor Justin McPhillips, who oversees the Washington Embassy's operations, and an executive from Hello World subsidiary Qantas Business Travel. Does the Prime Minister deny such documents exist?"
Yeah, that's okay. Leader of the House.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Well, Mr Speaker, the Prime Minister has asked about conflict of interest in that question. And, Mr Speaker, let me say this about conflict of interest. The Labor Party, since we got into power in 2013, have opposed every single attempt we've made to make the unions accountable in this country, Mr Speaker. The Australian Building and Construction Commission, the registered organisation.
The Leader of the House will resume his seat. The Manager of Opposition Business on a point of order.
Point of order on direct relevance, Mr Speaker. The Minister has referred to a part of the question that wasn't in the question at all.
Could just assist me. Do you mind just reading it again, because I missed the first couple of words?
The structure of it was question to the Prime Minister, 9 reports, and I quote. 9, right. There was then the quote, and the question was, does the Prime Minister deny such documents exist? That was what the member for Rankin asked.
Yeah, I'm just going to say to the Leader of the House that was a very tight and was a very tight question. When I sat the Leader of the House down, he had strayed beyond the subject matter of the question, but I call the Leader of the House. The member for Hotham is not assisting. The Leader of the House has the call.
Well, thank you, Mr Speaker. And if such documents exist and if such reports exist, I'm sure that we can find those things out when we actually investigate the efficacy of this question, Mr Speaker. And I'm not going to simply accept on face value that because the opposition says something, it makes it true, Mr Speaker. It never is. We see time and time again that in fact is not the case, that the Labor Party take long bows, exaggerations, use all sorts of means to try and twist the truth, and I've seen that for a quarter of a century in this place. So I'm hardly going to simply accept what the member for Rankin says and respond to it as though it's factual. But I was asked, I thought generally the question was an implication of conflict of interest, Mr Speaker. Conflict of interest of our ambassador in Washington, D.C. And as I said before, in my answer, the government has absolute confidence in our ambassador in Washington, D.C., and we're not going to take lectures from the Labor Party about integrity in politics. And as I said in my previous answer, Mr Speaker, which I'm referring to, the Labor Party has a very long charge sheet when it comes to inappropriate behaviour in state and the national parliaments.
Leader of the House will resume his seat. I've made it clear that the Leader of the House needs to relate his answer to the subject matter in the question. He was doing that just until that last 15 or 20 seconds. So I'm happy to call him again or just move to the next question. Move to the next question. That sounds like a good idea. The member for